Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to look at a section of your book that takes every piece of the information from your simulation that you're going to need and puts it all together. So this is the template that you're going to use when you write your simulations paper. And there are a couple of things on here that I'm going to tell you you must copy exactly. And then there are some things on there that you can that will depend on the data from your simulation as far as what you write. Okay? So putting it all together. Be happy to know there's no work in this one. We're just looking at it. All right, here we go. First, remember that you must state which device you're going to use and how you're going to divide and how you're going to use it. So make sure that you know what all the possible outcomes are. This is not part of the template. This is just your background. So you need to know what all the possible outcomes are. Like in SNAP, you'd have letter S, letter N, letter A, letter P. That's what outcomes mean. You need to know the probability of each outcome, and you need to make sure to check that they add to 1. If they don't, then you have a problem, okay? So you need to make sure that's background information. You're going to state the device you're going to use. We're all going to use the same device. We're going to use a random number generator at random.org/integer, right? Be specific. I need to be able to go back to your device and look at it. This is how I will use my device. I know that my probability that I need 10 different numbers because the denominator of my fraction is a 10 or a 100 or whatever. State how many numbers you would need. And then, so I will choose numbers from 1 to 100. And I need to do this trial 15 times, so I'll pick 15. Right? Now, I'm going to show you on the random number generator that you can go ahead and pick thousands of numbers 1 through 100, and then you just go into how many you need, mark it off, then go in there like that. So it's as if you have a number generated, like a random number generated worksheet like we used to use in the good old days. All right? So describe how you're going to use your device, and we've looked at samples of that. Step 4, you're going to create this table. You are going to create this table exactly. Of course, this is going to change. The number of squares you have is going to change. But you're going to write every possible outcome. This was the one for SNAP. So they put S, you could get an N, you could get an A, or you could get a P. Right? So whatever your outcomes are, and however many you are. So you may have to extend it. You will write the probability for each outcome. Right? So that was like 4/10, 3/10, 2/10, 1/10, whatever. Right? So make sure, So make sure that they're all in there. We've done that one a lot. Then you're going to write down the random numbers that go with each one, right? Which results from your device will represent each outcome. Make a list. I do not want this. Yes. I don't like it. I want a list. And if I don't like something on your paper, your grade's going to suffer, right? So instead, you would write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, right? So make sure your boxes are big enough, and you're going to be typing all that in, so it'll be big enough. Okay? So make a list. Then, the next section, you're going to describe what one trial will look like. Now, the one thing they haven't done here is remember you have your purpose in the front when you're talking about what it is you're going to be experimenting about and what question you're trying to add. And we'll come back to that, okay? You're going to describe one trial. And look at this. They literally have blanks for you to fill in. This is what I want your template to look like. One trial will consist of blah, 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 until I will do, and this is going to be the same. What's this always going to be? 30 trials, right? I'll do 30 trials. So this would be the same for everybody. Okay? So, in your example of one trial, do not complete a table with at least the following in there. Don't put the gray stuff in there, but you have to have this. You need a number and an outcome. So let's say on that SNAP one, I had a number, my first random number was a 2. That stood for an S, right? And you do that for as many times as either like the one with 14 questions, you had to do it 14 times. If you're trying to get all 4 letters, you have to continue to do it until you get all 4 letters, right? So whatever for your device. We're going to do some practices so you can do it. Trial outcome. This means that, and so you'll describe what that trial outcome means. Yeah? So all of these headings and the fill in the blank sections have those there. And also have these charts like this, number and outcome. Make sure you put them in there. Okay, then the thing we did yesterday, where you're creating that table and calculating your results, this is what that looks like. So you're going to have this big thing. And again, thank you very much. Ella has made this chart for us with 30 trials and lots of blank spaces in here, even putting in the little separations that I like that they didn't have. You're going to have to put these in yourself, the trial outcomes, because you don't know what they're going to be. Draw 7, whatever you're looking for to happen, right? Okay, so you'll put those in there. So here's the trial number. You'll have result, but again, it's going to be separated into boxes like this one is. And then what that number means. Okay? So you'll have 30 of those, so you'll just do it over and over and over again, 30 different times. Aren't you lucky? Then, these two pieces will not change one bit. My estimate of the probability, now when we were doing these in the last thing, they put the mean first and the probability second. It doesn't matter which one comes first or which one comes second. But the estimate of the probability is the total number from blank trials over the number of trials. We did that yesterday. And then finally the estimate of the mean, total number of trials, and divided by the number of trials. These bottom numbers are never different. And you will always then take that fraction and let your calculator turn it into a decimal for you. Right? We prefer 4 decimal places if you have to. Then, that was the day before last. I forgot. We did assumptions yesterday. Okay? Then your discussion and assumptions. You need to make sure that you remember they're only estimates. More trials mean more reliable estimates. So we talked about the sentences then. Then you're going to do some assumption that you made or assumptions that you made. You're all going to have these 3 pieces here, but then you're going to have some assumption. Some experiments will lead to more assumptions than others, right? Like the U one, the lambs. We knew that we were going to keep those. He may not keep those sheep for 6 years for some other reason, right? We need to talk about that and know that we are assuming that he keeps all of the sheep for 6 years, but that may not be the issue, right? One of them may be just a troublemaker who breaks through the fence all the time, so he gets rid of it earlier, right? But you just have to assume that, but then you have to mention something like the troublemaking sheep, right? Okay, remember the things that we did yesterday, okay? So there's your template for performing the simulation. And then, so from that, so what I want you to do today is I want you to work on building a template, and I'm going to email you that one chart, and you'll build that template and try to get all of those together as much as you can for the experiment. Now, there's still other pieces. You're going to have to talk about what your purpose is, what you're going to do, and we'll again go back and do that when we look at some of the others. We've done some exercises in the book about those and how to lay those out, and then we're going to have some conclusions that we're also going to write. So we're going to do that today, and then afterwards, the next several classes, what we're going to do is some practice simulations. And we'll do those together in class. We'll do one that we're completely doing together on the board. Then we'll do one where you're going to do it in class, but you can help each other and ask me questions, right? So that you'll be really prepared when the time comes for writing this, which is in week 11, which is not that far away, especially since we get so much time off for Easter. Okay? All right. There you go. So you know what to do. Let's get done.